Just offer to trade something you've made. You don't have to war to get peace. You don't have to cry to get love. You don't have to war to get peace. You don't have to kill to rule hate. You don't have to kill to rule hate. Just put down your arms and say I won't kill. You don't have to kill to rule hate. Don't have to die to be free. You don't have to die to be free. Just reach out with love to you and me. You don't have to die to be free. You don't have to cry to get love. You don't have to war to get peace. You don't have to kill to rule hate. You don't have to die to be free. You don't have to cry to get love. You don't have to cry to get love. Just reach out your arms and ask for help. Don't have to cry to get love.
Holding back the power in this room right now, rising up as a force of love so high it can't come down. Every soul is a soul on fire, burning bright with the light of life. Here we are, open wide, there's no place we can hide. We sing out peace in the world I made. God, in every breath I take, joy in my day, joy in my day. Love in the words I say, peace in the world I make. God, in every breath I take, joy in my day, joy in my day. We are lifted up. We are lifted up. We are lifted up higher. We are lifted up. We are lifted up. We are lifted up higher. Love in the words we say, peace in the world we make. God, in every breath we take, joy in our day, joy in our day. Love in the words we say, peace in the world we make. God, in every breath we take, joy in our day, joy in our day. God, in every breath we take, joy in our day, joy in our day. We are lifted up. Joy in my day. We are lifted. Every word I say. We are lifted. In the world I made. Joy in my day. We are lifted up. We are lifted up. We are lifted up higher. We are lifted up. We are lifted up. Joy. We are lifted up. Joy in my day.
How's everybody today? Welcome to Unity Columbine Spiritual Center, where centered in God, we celebrate a world of harmony, peace, and abundance for all. Please stand and join us for our first joy song.
All right, good morning, everyone. This morning, let's open ourselves up to love. Let's sing this together. I am open. I am open. I am open. I am open to receive the love in you and me. I am open. I am open. I am open to receive the love in you and me. Now sing, you are open. You are open. You are open. You are open to receive the love in you and me. You are open. You are open. Oh, you are open to receive the love in you and me. Let's sing this together. We are open. We are open. Yeah, we are open. We are open to receive the love in you and me. We are open. We are open. Oh, we are open to receive the love in you and me. The love in you and me. There's so much love, the love in you and me. Yeah. The love in you and me.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Sydney, for being here today for our Joy Singers. And now is the time when we invite Jeannie and all of our kids up. So come on up, everybody.
Good morning, Columbine. We have old and young and all alike. So if all the kids want to come up with me, this is awesome. Yay. And I wanted Ava and John to come up. I just have to let you guys know because she's heading off to college, you guys, and it's so exciting. So this is her last Sunday before college. So if you guys want to give her a round of applause, I think that would be just really awesome. And then John has another semester, and then he's going to be in the military. So we're glad that you guys are both with us today. Okay, and we are going to head downstairs. And today we're going to talk about, we talk about this all the time. You guys know about this, but the connectedness of everything. And so we are going to talk about how we are a little bit of stardust in each of us, literally. And we're going to talk a lot about that, and then we're going to make some stardust, so you might see us wearing stardust necklaces, okay? So anyways, I will let you guys bless us out.
We love you. We bless you.
We appreciate you. We see the Christ you are. And now please stand for our second joy song.
Sing, open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. to see you high and lifted up. You're shining in the light of your glory. Pour out power and love as we sing holy, holy. See you high, we want to see you high and lifted up. Shining in the light of your glory. Oh, pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. I want to see you. One more time, sing open. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you.
Now is the time in our service where we settle ourselves into quiet prayer and meditation. We'll start off with music from Sydney, and then Christy Coates, one of our prayer chaplains, will lead us into a prayer and meditation.
In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. There is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is peace. In the stillness of this moment there is peace. There is peace. And I rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment there is peace.
I invite you to take a couple of deep breaths with me as we settle into this time of prayer. And you feel the chair supporting you. You are held, you are supported. Sweet Spirit, our beloved community gathers again today. We are so grateful to be here with each other, to be here in love with each other, and to be love to each other. We know we are stardust. We are the spark of the divine. We have it in us. We are it. And we are never alone. You uphold us, Spirit. You guide us. You nudge us when we could be doing something a little more lovingly. You hold us when we are in sorrow, and you rejoice with us when we celebrate. We know that every challenge that we have, each of us, or as a community, is a place of learning, a point of growth, and that you are there. We are enfolded in a golden bubble of light, the light of love, the light of divine music, the light of divine joy. And as we hold this love together as our beloved community, we also hold all of the names and the situations that have been given to us through the prayer box, through the weekly prayer list. We hold all of those in divine love, knowing that all is well, that all is good, all is safe, all is love. For it is of love that we are made. That is the source and is the ground of our being. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. And now we will go into a time of silence. Open the eyes of your heart. And so it is. Amen.
And we rest and trust and breathe and know that in the stillness of this moment not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. 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 Ooh. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am light. Yeah. I am light. 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 Ooh. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. It's all light. I am 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 divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
Thank you. Wow, that was absolutely beautiful. There we go. Quick mic check. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Well, good morning. My name is Michael Tusignan. This is my privilege to be board trustee of the day, and as such, I'll be introducing the speakers today. And coincidentally, I also happen to be one of the speakers today, along with Carrie Lingenfelter and Karen Van Vuren, and together we'll be sharing the message this morning. Now, in terms of the message, when Ann Moriarty first reached out to me a few weeks ago and asked if I'd be willing to speak, I told her I would. And I asked her what she wanted me to talk about, and she was very clear. She said, about 7 minutes. So with that guidance, none of us are going to be too long, but the three of us, Carrie, Karen, and I, will be talking about and sharing our stories about the message today, which is inviting close encounters into our lives and the benefits, the challenges, and what we've learned by doing that. And of course, that ties into Columbine's theme for the year, which is inviting close encounters. And I'm going to kick things off by talking about a close encounter that's become very meaningful to me in recent years. And to do that, I want to start by talking for a moment about my background here at Columbine. My wife Lisa and I have been coming here for about 14 years. And while Lisa has been very involved almost from day one, I was a much more passive member for a number of those years. I'd show up for service, which I always enjoyed, but I rarely stayed afterward. I knew just a handful of people, and only occasionally came to some of the events outside of the regular service. And in hindsight, there were a few reasons for that, but more than anything, I fell into the trap of thinking I was just too busy between work and travel and other obligations. I didn't think I had the time. And while I certainly was busy, most of us are. And in reality, it was just a matter of not making the right choices and prioritizing the right things. But after a number of years, that little voice that we hear about here at Columbine started speaking up and telling me I should get more involved, that I was missing out on a lot of the Columbine experience, and that I would really benefit from getting to know more people. And yet I was still very reluctant. Again, I was busy, too busy. At least that's what I told myself. But as we know, that little voice can be persistent. And so I eventually relented, and I thought, okay, I'll get a little bit more involved and meet a few more people. And as usually happens when we open to it, the opportunity presented itself. Ironically enough, at the beginning of the pandemic when we were all under lockdown. About that time, Kevin McQueen reached out to me and said he was starting a Zoom call weekly for a handful of men as a way to stay in touch while we were all remote. And he wanted to know if I'd be interested in being part of that. And on the one hand, I thought, okay, this is probably the opportunity that I've been looking for. But on the other hand, I was still very reluctant. Again, and the same old excuses started coming up. I'm really busy with work, especially with the pandemic. I don't know if I've got 90 minutes to commit every week. I don't know all these men that well. And I almost said no to Kevin. But fortunately, this time I did listen to that inner guidance. And I called Kevin back and I told him to count me in. And so we started having weekly calls in April of 2020. And you all probably remember that time. We'd spend the first 15 minutes just trying to learn how Zoom worked, right? How to dial in and how to unmute ourselves. But once we figured it out, we'd check in with each other and compare notes about how we're handling those early, pretty anxious days of the pandemic. And it was actually very comforting. And as time went on, this men's group meeting evolved. Not every meeting was serious or profound. It wasn't intended to be. We actually laughed a lot. We check in on what's going on in each other's lives. And we had some really good discussions around some interesting topics. And as we got to know each other better, I think we all realized this was a very special group. So much so that when the lockdown ended and we were back here in person, we were all very interested in keeping the group going. And so we continued to get together, both virtually and in person, and I really enjoy these meetings. I got a lot out of them. I always look forward to them, and everything was going great from my perspective until one day it was suggested that to get the most out of this group, we really needed to work on being more vulnerable with each other. And I remember immediately thinking to myself, wait a minute. That's not what I signed up for. I don't do vulnerable. Yeah, I'm familiar with Brene Brown's work, but it's hard. It's uncomfortable, and what's fun about that? And clearly I was very resistant to this idea. But as we talk about at Columbine, if something triggers you that much, it's probably worth exploring. And so I went along with the group, albeit reluctantly, and I started to reflect on why this was such a big issue for me. And as I thought about it, I came to realize that I've always equated vulnerability with weakness, especially with other men. And it was something that would be used against you in sports or performance reviews or relationships. And I was very guarded about showing anything that I thought was a weakness. And yet, as I began to see the other men in the group, who I greatly admire, model real honesty and vulnerability around some tough issues, I began to see that it's not a weakness. In fact, it takes real courage and real strength to be vulnerable. And the group did become much closer and develop a deeper level of trust as a result. Turns out Brene was right. And that was all a revelation to me. And while I admit it's still not easy, allowing myself to be vulnerable is something that I'm working on and applying to other areas of my life. Like maybe standing in front of 100 people at Columbine talking about it. Now, this is just one of the many, many ways I've benefited from being part of this special group. And I'm incredibly grateful to each of these men, namely Dave Abbott, Earl Hausman, Doug Carey, Bill Holmes, Kevin McQueen, and Johnny Daria. And because I finally made the time and took a chance on this close encounter, I'm now blessed to have these men as my coaches, my confidants, my mentors, my dear friends who continue to inspire me in more ways than they'll ever know. Now, to wrap up, I can't talk about Close Encounters and not reference Steven Spielberg's iconic movie from 1977. So I'll end with this. If you recall in the movie, Richard Dreyfuss's character is desperately seeking something, but he doesn't know exactly what until the very end of it when he finally finds it. And of course, in his case, it was a close encounter of the third kind with aliens. But the great news is we don't have to look to the stars for our own close encounters. We can find it with neighbors or colleagues from work or relatives, or in my case, 6 very special men from Columbine. It just takes a willingness to be open to the opportunity to say yes. And if we do, we may well find these become close encounters of the best kind. Thank you. So it's my pleasure now to introduce Karen Van Vuren, who's going to share her story.
Can I move this to the side as well? Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Well, okay. I'm Karen Van Vuren, and I am going to talk about spiritual signposts and close encounters with grief in my talk today. I've been a member of Columbine since 2017, and I actually came here because I was shown a spiritual signpost that I should walk into this church, and it would provide me with inspiration around a very difficult situation in my life, which it did. And I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm also a prayer chaplain, and I co-facilitate the monthly grief group here at Columbine. So for the last 2 decades or more, my work has been with end of life. And that has meant starting a nonprofit that provided education around conscious, holistic, and natural choices when we reached that point, and editing a magazine on end of life. I made 2 hospice documentaries, and I helped to also start a national organization which really supports families' rights to have experiences with ceremony with their loved ones when they die. So my identity has very much been entwined with end-of-life work, and that stems from something in my childhood, as is often the case with people who go into this field. And I've worked a lot with grief and loss, and I recognize that there are different types of death, what Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, the hospice pioneer, refers to as the little deaths, that basically can prepare us for the big death. And those are deaths of relationship, could be a job loss, where our identity now is called into question. Who are we really? It could be a health situation where suddenly we can't run up mountains, we can't run marathons, and we have to adjust to that change. And there is grief, and there is an integration process. So in 2022, I was the owner of a holistic funeral home. And I'd helped to found this place and was involved with it for 7 years. And then my relationship with my business partners tanked, went south, and I walked away from that business with which I was so identified. It consumed my life, I had community, and I was in an existential crisis around who am I, what am I to do now in this world? So I was taking a Unity Spiritual Enrichment course with a minister from Unity Fort Worth. His name is Jean-Marie Schweitzer, Swiss man, and he shared with me that in his 50s he had gone back to school to study counseling, and how this was so supportive and gave him a lot of introspection around life events. And I thought maybe that could be for me, but I had some questions because I'm an entrepreneurial person, I'm pretty creative, and I didn't know if I could see myself actually doing one-on-one counseling, even though I'd sat with many families in my time with end-of-life work. But I decided to do it, and last year I signed up to do an online program in counseling, mental health counseling. And we had a paper to write this spring, and it was about our approach to counseling. And I found a theory, and there are hundreds of counseling theories, and they want you to identify one early on. Of course, you can change it later down the road. And I found this approach, and it was kind of science of mind-ish, right? So it's looking at activating events, and then our beliefs around them, how we respond, the consequences could be depression or anxiety, whatever, and then disputing, challenging those beliefs, and then reframing them, right? So we're really changing our mind around how something affects us. And I thought, I could go with that, but there is something missing here. And for me, that was a spiritual component, something that gave a deeper philosophical perspective that I could integrate into my approach and make it more holistic. And my practice over the years has often been, before I go to bed, I invite Spirit to inform me around direction. And I ask a question before I go to sleep. So I ask that question, what is it that I can use to complete this approach? And I awoke and looked at a book on my bookshelf in my bedroom by Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. And I had read that probably 2 decades ago, and I knew that missing ingredient is in that book. So I read it again, was totally smitten with Viktor Frankl, his incredible courage, his wisdom, his love, his forgiveness. If you haven't encountered who he is, he was a survivor of the Holocaust. He was a psychiatrist and a neurologist, Austrian. He had a manuscript with him when he entered the camps that was his life's work. And it was logotherapy, and logo means meaning in Greek. And it was how, if we can find meaning in difficult circumstances, we can transform them and transmute them. And he wrote this book before he went into the concentration camps, and they took it away. And what gave him the strength to withstand the horrors of the camps was thinking when he got out, he would write this book again, because it was all in his head and in his heart. And that idea of finding meaning in suffering is really potent around end of life and understanding grief and transforming it. Finding meaning in a life and finding a new relationship to the world after someone has died. So I was very excited about that, and then I got onto the internet and I was doing some research about his biography, and I was reading, okay, so when the Nazis came to Austria in 1938, Viktor Frankl had a visa to go to the US. And he decided to stay because none of his family members had visas. And then he ended up in the camps. And he practiced at a psychiatric hospital in Vienna, and the name of that hospital was Steinhof. And when I saw the name Steinhof, I nearly fell off my chair. Because when I was 22 years old, I lived in Vienna, and I was a translator. I was a student, actually. I was doing a practicum at a vocational school, and I became involved in a campaign that a cultural magazine had started to call attention to the situation of a man, a Hungarian man, who'd been in a psychiatric hospital for 10 years and was not insane, had learned the law, had got himself to where he could smuggle out a letter to this magazine, and they took up his case and said people should go visit him in Steinhof because he needs to have attention called to his case. So I went for 3 months, 3 times a week, to Steinhof, where Viktor Frankl had practiced before the war. After the war, he wasn't practicing, but he also lived in Vienna. After the war, he chose to stay. When other Jewish intellectuals left and went to the United States, he stayed in Austria. And as I said, an amazing man of love and forgiveness. So I believe that I have a destiny curriculum in this lifetime, and my destiny curriculum offers me opportunities to learn and grow, and they're not always easy, the circumstances that arise, but there are also signposts along the way that I can pay attention to that direct me to coming from a lower place of consciousness to a higher place of consciousness, finding meaning in something incredibly hard. And Viktor Frankl talks about the freedom we have to respond to what is in front of us. That is our last freedom, even when conditions are, as he puts it, inescapable, which they were in the concentration camps. So that just puts things in perspective for me. I always have a choice about how I respond, where I respond from my heart, from up here, and that I have responsibility to my conscience, which is my higher self. So my lessons are, again, look for the spiritual signposts, work on your spiritual awareness, your powers of wisdom, and certainly of faith, that all is ultimately for your highest good, for your growth, to serve this world, and be true to that message. So thank you for listening. I'm really grateful to share my story.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Lingenfelter, and my husband and I, Dan, have been coming here for a couple of years now. Jeannie has captured our children. They love her so much, so we love being here. So I would love to chat with you guys today about something that brought me to my knees in my life and brought my husband also, I hope, I guess. So my husband and I, we met each other later on in life. We were 30 when we got married, and we had both gone through grad school, traveled the world, made many goals that we had accomplished. So when we got married, we thought we knew we've got this. We are on it. We are ready to have children. There's nothing we can't handle, right? We're goal seekers. We can do this. And I was also a speech therapist, an early intervention specialist, and an elementary teacher before I had kids. So we already knew we were going to handle it. But as soon as the nurse put our son on my chest and I looked into his fluorescent blue eyes, and he rocked my world as he consciously connected with me. My husband said, "Look at him, he's beautiful, Carrie." And he turned his head and looked at my husband directly in the eyes with those fluorescent blue eyes. We were like, wow, we are not prepared. We are not ready for this. All that preparation, we thought, like, no. And guess what? The hospital sent us home with him, which we did not know what to do as soon as we got home. So I kept turning to all of the books that I had read in preparation, all of the pieces that I thought this box of parenthood looked like, all of these rules that I thought I had to follow, all of these schedules I thought I had to keep, all of these routines I thought I had to put into place, was that actually the opposite of what our son needed. Our son was one of these kiddos that's coming into the world that's highly spirited, highly gifted, highly sensitive, which I did not know at the time, but I should have guessed when he looked right into my eyes. So I luckily had all these spiritual people around me. I was raised spiritually. I was given Eckhart Tolle books and Edgar Cayce books from my grandmother when I was in my 20s, but I did not have time to read them because I was in my 20s and I already thought I knew everything. So even though I was raised spiritually, in those moments when you're so fearful and you're holding this tiny little human being that you're like trying to keep alive, let alone your plants, which do not stay alive as well, but you're holding this tiny little human being and trying to put everything you have into keeping this little person nourished, I didn't realize how much I was getting into my headspace, how much I was listening to my monkey mind and thinking I knew what he needed while I was not connecting to my heart and listening and knowing what he needed. It was all right there. I knew all along what this little being needed, what he needed to connect with, and what he was seeking. So luckily I had these spiritual people around me that said, "Carrie, calm your mind for a minute, listen to your heart, connect, and hear what this little guy needs." And it was during those moments where I was rocking him on this yoga bouncy ball in one of his 85 sleep gadgets, where he had these bright blue eyes and his little binky staring up at me like, "Mom, I do not want to sleep right now. I don't want to be on a sleep schedule." And I was sitting in the closet because he needed the dark center and the quiet and the noise machine with our 85 gadgets, and feeling so lonely when I had this little creature and he was looking up at me like, "Mom, put it down. Put down the books. Step away. Hear me. I will show you what I need. I will tell you when I need to be fed. I will tell you when I want to take a nap. You just need to connect with me. You need to put aside those books," actually burn them, because some of those just make you very fearful. But yeah, so those times when I finally could connect with him, when I could hear myself, I was able to understand what this little creature needed. And it was a cycle where you don't realize that you're getting back into your mind. You're hearing those repeating cycles in your head. You get back into that box that we think we need to be in. So it was a consistent back and forth of learning to hear myself, learning to connect again every time I would get into my headspace. And luckily, I have people that I could connect with around me, my mom, other people, spiritual centers, to help me ground myself, help me connect, help me realize you're cycling again, Carrie. So spirituality has been one of these pieces that has helped me to realize I am a change maker. I'm raising a change maker, and we are working together. We are growing together, and being a mom may have been one of the biggest challenges that I've ever faced, harder than grad school, guys. It was hard. Becoming a mom to one of these special kids that I'm raising every day has helped me to realize that it is my mission right now to connect with other parents, to connect with other moms and dads that are raising these highly sensitive, gifted, very spiritual kids that come in wanting to run when they're babies so that they can go out there and change the world. So I encourage you guys, if you hear of anybody that feels alone, if they feel alone in their challenges, if they're feeling alone in the cycles in their head, to help them realize that we can break free of the society boxes. We can hear our hearts. We can hear that we're not alone, and we can come back to hearing our hearts. This has been such a passion of mine that my husband and I, a couple of years ago, realized, okay, it works for us. We love this. And it's really helped to heal our hearts. We need this for our kids. They're getting older. Our son, he was 6, I think, at the time when we started seeking out unity for ourselves and seeking out spiritual guidance for our kids. And I started to realize, hey, this actually really helps to ground our son, ground our daughter. This is what they need in their lives. They needed this connection with their heart. They needed to quiet their monkey minds, as I use with my kids. They needed to look for synchronicities in their life and change their mindsets from negative to positive. And I've been doing it for a couple of years now with my kids. And just because I'm human, I still have my moments where I start to cycle again. And now my 6-year-old will turn to me and she'll say, Mom, you've taught us, change your mindset from what you don't want to see happen to what you do want to see happen, Mom. Oh, who knew? She really is listening to what I'm saying while she's coloring her little princess sheet. So as you're going out into the world, remember that maybe that mom with that crying kid on the airplane, or the one that keeps kicking the back of your seat, that kid, that's probably my kid. They are doing their best in their bodies, and that mom is doing the best she can. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen and Carrie and Michael. Can we have a huge round of applause for our speakers today? You guys were amazing. Thank you so much for your thoughts and your insights and just for your inspiration. Now we have another song from Sydney.
All right. This last song I'm going to sing for you guys is about love and connection and friendship and everything that we've talked about today, so I hope it connects with you. If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. We find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, ooh. If you're tossing and you're turning and you just can't fall asleep, I'll sing a song beside you. If you ever forget how much you really mean to me, every day I will remind you. Oh, we find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, supposed to do. Oh yeah. Ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah. You'll always have my shoulder when you cry. Ooh, I'll never let go, never say goodbye. Oh, you know you can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do. Oh yeah. Ooh, ooh, you can count on me and I can count on you.
Sydney, thank you so much. We always love it when you grace our presence. So let's start our final descent into the end of our service with our purpose statement. We commit to increasing our spiritual awareness, diversifying our community, manifesting our highest potential, and positively impacting the world. Now is the time in our service where we gratefully receive your financial contributions. So our lovely greeters are coming around with our bags. So if you feel so inclined, you can contribute. And we also have a QR code on the side, so there's that option as well. And now moving in, oh, nope. First, we say our offering blessing. I seem to always forget this part. So, God's love has always met and will always meet all my needs. I give freely, I receive abundantly, and I am grateful. Now, let's all turn around and say hello to our online viewers. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. Maybe more online viewers today than usual because everybody stayed home after, not everybody, we have all of you, obviously. But, I mean, people might have stayed home after being here for so long yesterday doing Colorado Feeding Kids. Thank you, all of you, for staying. And so I'm jumping ahead. Thank you all. Here's Beth.
Hi, everyone. Just like Sydney said, we could count on you. And you all showed up yesterday. And we packed just under 37,200 meals. They look like this. And your impact to each child is just amazing. And know that it goes out. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts, from Colorado Feeding Kids, from mine, from Earl's. And one last thank you. Please give a round of applause to Earl Hauserman because this is his last year leading Colorado Feeding Kids. 7 years. 7 years he's done this. Thank you.
And we also need to give a round of applause to Beth. And everyone who was at Colorado Feeding Kids yesterday, please stand up because you are amazing. Thank you. With your hairnets and your gloves and your masks, thank you all. And now I'd just like to have everyone please lift up Roseanne Penka. I know many of you knew her, and she made her peaceful transition on Tuesday night, and so we extend our love and our prayers to her family and friends and just really hold her in our hearts. Details for her celebration of life will be made known as we get those details, but if we could all just maybe take a moment of silence right now for her and her family. Thank you. And now we have Raven to tell you about the women's retreat next weekend.
Yes. So hi, everyone. I'm Raven, if you don't know me. I'm one of the co-facilitators for this year's women's retreat. We are so excited as it's approaching. We have passed the official deadline for registration, but we have about 8 spots left. So if you want to still go and you're thinking about it or you want to dive in, one thing I really love is that Sue says Sundays are the appetizers of our community. So if you want like a full meal of spirituality, come to the women's retreat. We got everything from live music to small group activities, art projects, and really in-depth, really amazing unity teachings. So we still got spots, so please join us. I'll be in Foss Hall helping with registration. The closer you get, I might advise emailing to make sure there's spots in case you don't sign up today, but we want to make sure everyone can come. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be in Foss Hall.
Thank you, Raven. And who are our prayer chaplains today? Okay, we've got Deb and Sue. Thank you very much. So now, if you would please rise for our prayer song.
Song, then prayer.
Song and prayer. Prayer and song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to